Hello, and welcome back to another development video. Today we're taking a look at the 4 worlds, some of their characteristics, and their key features. One of my goals was to make each of the worlds feel different, like you're playing the same game, but in a different reality. I figured a good start may be altering the color palette between each of these worlds. If I go onto the portal and choose to warp, I've played around with that base green color that I had for the grass, and then changed it between each of the worlds. The mountains, which I talked about in my last devlog, have a more pastel green. If I choose to warp inside, the walls and the trees reflect this pastel color, giving you kind of like a magical feel for it. It is still pretty empty besides the offering mechanic, but I want to make the mountain area to have the base of the mountain be a large open space with more restrictions as you ascend up the mountains. To contrast the style, let's go into the city, which is based on the modern scientific world, and the color palette has a more gray scale and a darker color. I've added a fair bit of content into this world. Rather than there being merchants to sell you things, the city will be filled with self-checkout machines, and I can converse with any of these machines the same way I'd converse to any other person. I've added into the shops in the cities cups of coffee, which give you a speed boost, and lottery tickets, which unlock kind of a mini-game. If I open up my inventory here, I've also made the box a little bit longer so it stores a bit better, but let's use the lottery ticket in my inventory. When you click to use it, you get a close-up of the ticket and the rules of how to play the game. As well, the current host is turned to face the ticket. As you scratch each flower, there's a number, and based on how many of that number is, will determine how much money you will get. The lottery ticket game is oddly addicting, and you usually end up losing more money than you gain, but you win frequently enough that it's almost rewarding. I plan to change out the clicking sound with the scratching sound later, but it's a good placeholder in the meantime. I've also added vehicles into the city, which are a quick means of navigating across the overworld. The car is randomly changed each time you go in. Like if I debug and reset, you can see it alters kind of between different options. My goal is to make the city really congested, where the only real way to get around is via the roads. So you'll have these cars to quickly navigate the areas. You're kind of confined to the streets, like you can see when I was driving around and trying to get past the sidewalk, it boots me back out. This is to make it so you can't just go full Grand Theft Auto, you're kind of confined to the streets. The cars will not be open and free to use. I will have broken cars next to each warp portal inside the city. To repair a car, you need a randomly picked amount of spark plugs, taillights, and tires. You'll be able to find them randomly across the city, in junkyard areas. I might make it so you'll be able to buy them. I'm still kind of working that out. But once you have the right amount of resources, you can click on a car and it will tell you what you need to repair it. When I click to repair the car, now that car is free to drive around. When that car is repaired, it will save as that particular sprite. And then whenever you warp back to that specific portal in the city, you will always have that repaired car to drive. Repairing enough vehicles unlocks a new host, the mechanic. She swings a wrench as her basic attack, and her special spawns in a car to zoom across the map, making her the quickest character that I'm sure I will use very frequently. And if I open up my menu and go to inventory, I have spare parts listed among all the items that you can collect. Likewise, in the compendium, they're listed under items, although it's not centered right now. The other world I have worked on is the Isles. If I enter in, we get these restrictive small islands connected with small land bridges. This will allow me to make the world to be almost maze-like, where you can have islands that might be right next to each other, but you may need to loop around to get to that island. The main gimmick I added to the isle so far is Wraith Crystals. These are a certain ammo type that two new hosts will use. When you attack a Wraith Crystal, Wraiths come out, which will only stalk the initial attacker. Like if I swap to the infantry and shoot, and swap back to the mechanic, the Wraith ignores the mechanic and attacks the infantry soldier. When you destroy a Wraith Crystal, crystal shards come out, which is a new collectible ammo type. The hosts that use these are the Wraith Stalker and the Omnicaster. Before I talk about this ammo type, let's do a quick ammo summary in the last of the four worlds, the castle. The castle world is completely empty right now, besides a bunch of chickens for some reason. I plan to make this world the most open space out of the four worlds, with lots of nature and a large castle in the middle. The color palette is darker than the base palette that I use, but is still a vibrant color. Anyways, the different ammo types so far are eggs, which the farmer continues to throw so long as you hold down the mouse button. The infantry soldier, who shoots rifle bullets, fires every time you right mouse click. The archer shoots a charged arrow based on how long you hold down the right mouse button, and if you charge it too long, you fail to fire the arrow. The new ammo type, Crystal Shards, works off of a charged meter that automatically fires every time the meter fills up, making it a slower ammo type, but one that's automatic. Lastly, the Omnicaster, true to their name, can switch between what their special attack is. They utilize SP, which quickly replenishes to shoot a small energy beam out from their hands. Their basic attack, though, allows them to switch to a mana-based attack, which shoots fireballs. I can use herbs to replenish that, just as any normal mana attack. And they can also swap to an ammo-based attack, which fires the crystals. Just like spare parts, I've added the Wraith Shards to the ammo types listed in the inventory. This concludes the current development video. Thank you for watching.